So, hello all of you. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Learn with Pam. So, we are learning about interview questions. That is top 60 interview questions for Oracle PLSQL developer or SQL developer. So, in the previous video, we have discussed 20 questions. So, in this video, we will continue with the 21st question. So, we'll start with 21, question number 21. So, if you have not gone through the previous video, you can watch our previous video. So, in that video, we have covered 20 questions. So, we'll continue with the next question, that is 21. So, basically, the question is, what is the difference between entity, attribute, and tuple? So entity is a significant thing about which some information is required. So in other words, we can say that it represents a real world object, concept, or thing that is distinguishable from other objects. So entities are typically represented as tables in the relational databases. So this is about entity. Now second is attributes. So attributes are something that describes the entity. So in other words, we can say here describes a property or characteristics of an entity. So attributes are represented as columns in a database table. So attributes are basically columns. The next we have tuples. So tuple is a row in a relation is called as tuple. Next, in other words, we can say a single row or record in a relational database table containing a set of values corresponding to the attributes of the entity. So this is about entity, attribute, and tuple. So this might be a question in your interviews. So question number 22. So what is transaction? Describe the common errors that can occur while executing any transaction. So basically transaction consists of collection of DML statements that forms a logical unit of work. A common errors that can occur while executing any transactions are first, violating of constraints. So constraints we will cover in the next upcoming slide. So there are different types of constraints like not null value, default value, primary key, foreign key. So if you're violating these constraints, so this might be an error, that is the violation of the constraints. Next, data type mismatch. So if you are writing data type for a column as varchar2, or if you are writing number, and if you are trying to add different data types in that particular column, then this will be the error, that is data type mismatch. Next, we have value too long to fit the column. So during creation of the table, you specify the size of the column. So again, if you're entering this value in a column which is larger than the size which you specified, again this would be an error, that value too wide to fit the column. You can see the chart. So initial state, so the transaction will begin. So if you are committing, the transaction will be successful, or the succeed transaction will be taking place, and it is failed, so it should be rollback. So this is the chart showing the transaction. So question number 23, what is locking in SQL? Describe its types. So basically locking prevents the destructive interaction between concurrent transactions. So if a single user is trying to fetch, or if it is trying to connect a particular record, so this can be prevented, or this is the destructive interaction between the concurrent transaction. So locking is, so through the use of locking we can prevent this type of concurrent transaction. So lock helps until the commit or rollback. Types of locking are implicit locking and we have explicit locking. So implicit locking which occurs for all SQL statements except select. Next, explicit locking. So this can be done by user manually. So explicitly we have to lock the tables, rows, or any particular group of rows. So that is explicit locking. So in implicit locking, this occurs for all SQL statements except for the select statement. Now let us talk in detail about locking. So we have row locking, then we have page locking and table locking system. So in row locking, we are able to lock a specific row only. If a specific row if you are interested to lock, then you can lock a single row. Then in second case, we have page locking. So in page locking, we can lock a group of rows, that is two or three rows you can lock. So this is called as page locking. And table locking is we can lock whole table, that is called as table locking. So in table locking there are different modes, that is share mode, then share update mode and exclusive mode. So let's talk in detail about these different types. So row level lock. So in this row level lock, we are able to lock a single row. So let's see how the syntax is. Select star from EMP. So the table name is EMP where e name is equal to Smith. So single row will be fetched and we are locking for the update of salary. So for update cell, we are locking this particular row. So that is called as row level locking. Then second we have page level locking. So select star from EMP where ename in. So ename can be Smith, King and Miller. So the rows which consisting the ename Smith, King, Miller will be locked for update of the cell. So this is how the locking of page is done. So multiple rows can be there. So this is called as page locking. Next we have table locking. So what is this table locking? So lock table, we are directly locking whole table. So lock table, we are interested to lock the employee table. So we are locking employee table in share mode. So what is this share mode? In this share mode, what happens is if one user locks the table share mode, in the share mode, it will allow the other user to perform, it will not allow the other users to perform any operations on any record except the select. So in this share mode, the other user is not able to perform any operations, but it is important that in this mode, even though one user is locking the table, still it will allow the other user to lock the same table at a time. So this is about share mode. Next we have share update mode. So lock table EMP in share update mode. So what happens in the share update mode? Let's see. So in this share update mode, if one user locks the table, still it will allow the other user to perform the other operations on the record, except that the records which is accessed by the first user, it is not allowed to update. So in this share mode, we can do the manipulation operation or other operations, except if a single record is at the first user, if he is dealing with the first record, then this record is not allowed to manipulate by the second user. So this is about share update mode. Then next we have exclusive mode. So in exclusive mode, so the syntax is lock table EMP in exclusive mode. So what happens in the exclusive mode is in this mode one user lock the table and it will not allow the other users to lock the same table at a time. So this is the significance of the exclusive mode. So I hope this part is pretty much clear about the locks. So this was about locking of the SQL. So we have discussed different types of locks. So again, this might be a question in your interviews. Then question number 4, what is difference between commit, rollback and save point? So the commit, the ends the current transaction by making all pending data changes permanent, or in other words we can say that commit confirms the changes made in the transaction making them permanent. Then second we have rollback. So rollback ends the current transaction by discarding all pending data changes, or in other words we can say that in rollback it undoes the changes made in the transaction, restoring the database to its previous state. Next we have save point. So it divides the transaction into the smaller parts, or in other words we can say that sets a point within the transaction to which you can later roll back. So this is the difference between commit, rollback and save point. Then question number 25, what are the advantages of commit and rollback? So it ensures the data consistency, can preview the data changes before making the changes permanent, then group logically related operations. Then question number 26, describe the naming rules for creating the table. So what are the rules? So the table name must begin with a letter. Then a table name can be 1 to 30 characters long. Table name can contain A to Z, capital A to Z, small a to Z, 0 to 9 digits or underscore dollar or hash. So the special characters are allowed in the table name. Also, you cannot add the space in the table name. Instead of adding space, you can use these special characters. So these are the rules for creating the table. Next, we have what is default option in the table. So column can given a default value by using default option, or this is a constraint. So default is a constraint. So this option prevents null values from entering the column if the row is inserted without the value. So default constant, what does it mean? So if you are specifying the default constant, so this column will not allow to enter the null values, or if you are not entering the values, by default it will take null values, but as this column has default constant, it will try to insert the default value which you specified during the creation. So this is about default option. Next, state the difference between user tables and data dictionary. So the user tables. So the user tables, this is collection of tables created and maintained by the user. It contain user information. So this is about user tables. Then data dictionary tables. It is collection of tables created and maintained by the Oracle server. So we can say it is a centralized repository that stores metadata providing the information about the structure, definition and relationships of the data elements within a database or system. So what are the key components in the data dictionary tables are, so table definitions, then table column definitions, data types, constraints, indexes, then store procedures, functions, user permissions, then descriptions and comments. So this is all about key components which are there in the data dictionary table. Then we have describe the few data types used in SQL. So first we have varchar2. In bracket we have to specify the size. So minimum size is 1 and maximum is 4000. Next data type is character and size. Minimum size is 1 and maximum is 2000. Next, number data type. So again, precision can range from 1 to 38 and the scale can range from 84 -84 to 127. Then next data type we have date data type. To store the date, we have date data type, and second is long, which is of 2 GB. Next, we have what in what scenario you can modify a column in a table. So you can increase the width or precision of numeric column. Then you can increase the width of numeric or character columns. And you can decrease the width of column only if column contains null values and if table has no rows. So this is the scenario in which you can modify a column in a table. Next question we have, describe the few restrictions on using long data type. So a long column is not copied when table is created using the subquery. A long column cannot be included in a group by or order by clause. So you can see this is a Java program to demonstrate the long data type. So the class demo has been created in which the main method is present, public static void main. In this, the long distance has been declared and the value is assigned as this particular 1 to 1 to 1, and it is trying to print the distance. So the long variable initialization is done and long variable declaration is done. So likewise you can see this is a simple Java program which demonstrate the long data type. Next we have what is set unused option. So the set unused option marks one or more columns which are unused so that they can be dropped when the demand on the system resources is low. Unused columns are treated as if they were dropped, even though the column data remains in the table row. So we have syntax like you can see here, alter table, table name, set unused, we can write a column name. So this will be unused column. Again, alter table, table name, and you can drop the unused columns. All the unused columns can be dropped. Next, we have what is the difference between truncate and delete. So very important question. So again, there are chances, 99% chances that this question for sure the interviewer will ask you. So SQL truncate. So in truncate, removes this command removes all the rows from the table and releases the storage space used by that table. And in SQL delete removes all the rows from the table but does not release the storage space used by that table. Then truncate command is faster and delete command is slower. So truncate is DDL statement and cannot be rolled back. Again, delete is DDL statement and can be rolled back. So this is advantage of using delete. Then database triggers do not fire the truncate and database triggers fires the delete. So this is overall difference between truncate and delete statement or delete command. Next we have what is the difference between character and varchar2. So character pads blank spaces to the maximum length. whereas varchar2 doesn't pad blank spaces. So let me explain you in the next slide. You can see in this slide I have explained you in detail about character and varchar difference. So character is a fixed length character and varchar is a variable length character data type. Next, when you declare character column, you need to specify the maximum length and each value stored in the column, it will be padded with the spaces to that length. So for example, if you declare the character as 10, size is 10 column and stores the value as ABC in it, it will store as ABC padded with the spaces to the fixed length of the 10. So it is padding the blank spaces. So character is padding the blank spaces. On other hand, what does this varchar2 does? When you declare the varchar2 column, you also specify the maximum length, but values stored in the column does not get padded with this with the spaces. For example, if you declare varchar2 of the same size, that is 10 column, and stores, if you are storing the value as ABC in it, it will store as ABC without extra spaces. So this is basic difference between varchar2 and character. So again, I have added all this stuff into this table. You can go through this. So this is character and varchar2 is a variable length character. It has fixed spaces. It has variable memory. So no size indicator in character. In varchar2 size indicator is 1. So database space is x. So database space is x plus 1. Actual space is x and actual space is 1 plus data size. So this is about difference between character and varchar2. Next we have what are the constants. So very important question. Constants, how many types of constants are there? So basically constants are used to prevent invalid data entry or deletion if there are dependencies. So constants enforces the rules at the table level. There are 5 different types of constants. So first is not null value. So if the not null constant is specified, if you are not allowed to add null values in a particular column. Unique constant. So this column has all the records unique. So duplicate values are not allowed in the unique constant column. Next, primary key constant. Again, in the primary key constant also, null values, duplicate values are not allowed, and unique only the unique values are allowed in the primary key. Then foreign key constant, it is referential integrity. So this foreign key constant will be in the child table, and it will try to connect with the parent table. Next, we have check constant. Again, check constant, it will check the condition. If at all the condition is true, then and then only the data will be inserted into the table. So again, if you want to learn in detail about the constants, again, we have prepared a detailed video on the constant. You can watch that video. I will add the link in the description box. So you will get that video in the playlist of Oracle PLSQL. Next, question number 36 is describe the types of constant in brief. So first, not null constant, as I stated earlier in the previous slide, it ensures that column contains no null values. Then unique constant or unique key, it ensures that every value in a column or set of columns must be unique. Then primary key. So uniquely identifies each row in a table. Only primary key can be created in the for each table but can have several unique constants. So primary key constant should be single constant for one table. Then foreign key. So the foreign key value must match an existing value in the parent table or to be null. Next we have check constant. So defines a condition that each row must satisfy. A single column can have multiple check constants. Then question number 37. What is the main difference between unique key and primary key? So a table can have more than one unique key and a table can have only one primary key. So this is basic difference. Then the unique key column can store null values, but primary key column cannot store the null values. Uniquely identify each value in a column, then uniquely identify each row in a table in the primary key. Then question number 38. What is difference between on delete cascade and on delete sentinel? So on delete cascade indicates that when row in a parent table is deleted, the dependent rows in a child table will be also deleted. So on the other hand, we can state that on delete cascade, when a record in a parent table that is referenced by the foreign key is deleted, all the corresponding records in the child table automatically deleted, ensuring the referential integrity. Then on other hand, on delete set null convert foreign key values to the null values when the parent value is removed. Or we can say in the on delete set null that When a record is in a parent table is deleted, the corresponding foreign key values in the child table are set to null. So this is the basic difference in the on delete cascade and on delete set null. Then question number 9 is candidate key. So column in a table that can act as a primary key called as candidate key, or a candidate key is a set of one or more columns in a database table that can uniquely identify each record in a table. These columns have property that no two records or two rows can have same combination of the values in this column. So you can see in this chart. So this two columns are the candidate keys. That is student ID and first name and last name. Then question number 40, that is last question. What are the views and why they are used? So view is logical representation, or view logically represents subsets of data from one or more tables. A view is logical table based on the table or another view. A view contains no data of its own, but like a window through which data from tables can be viewed or changed. So from this table you can see we have created a view using table A and table B. You can see in this view we have taken this particular column from table A. Also we have taken this column over here in the view. Also from table B we have taken this column and this column in the view. So by using two tables we have created a composite view. So this is about view. So based on uses there are different types of views like single view or simple view, then complex view we have, then we have read only view, then we have materialized view. So like as different views are there. So this was about views. Again, if you want to learn in detail about views, we have created a different separate video on the views. You can watch the video on the views. So this was about next 20 questions in the PLSQL developer interview. So again, there are some remaining questions which might be asked for the experienced person. So that's all for this video. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and press the bell icon. So for more videos for interview preparation, we will be adding in the upcoming days. So that's all for this. So thank you all and have a wonderful day.